Okay, so today I want to talk to you about this different type of soul trainings that we go through before we incarnate. And the type of training that you bring to this incarnation is going to determine how you get to accomplish your mission in a way that hopefully will make sense to you. So I'm going to start with some of the different type of trainings that we go through. First, I'm going to do the soul trainings. These are the training schools that we go through when we transition from this life to the next. Sometimes we have to go through like a recap. Sometimes we have to go through a lot of schooling before we return. So first I'm going to do the soul group trainings, the soul trainings, and then the archangelic trainings. So these trainings are very interesting because they're different. Like I said, there are different type of trainings. So the first one that I'm going to go over is the rishis. The rishis are those that have health and advisory role, whether it is in other, like it could be the our Arcturians or the Pleiadians council or some type of council where they have held that advisory role, and that person brings that energy into this life here now. So they tend to have a lot of wisdom and insight. They tend to be non-judgmental because they see the polarities in things. They tend to be neutral sometimes, and they tend to be detached from people or things because they are so wise and have seen so much through other incarnations that when they bring this training forward to this life here, they understand the different lessons, the good and bad, the good and evil, the negative and positive, and they tend to be very detached from things. So these are the rishis. Now, the third order is called the third order soul training. These people, the gifts that they bring in is that they are very comfortable with death and moving from one situation to another. They believe in the afterlife. They know death is just one transition, not the end. These people tend to be mediums. They like the things that are very occult. They can help transitions entities from one dimension to another if they want to, when they tap into their gift. But if they don't tap into the gift, they can be seeing a lot of entities and be very scared. I remember really going through this period when I was a child where I didn't want to see some of the things. So I was very scared sometimes, most of the time. So until you learn how to control your gift, this can be very traumatic, to say the least. These people also have they have a way to guide others in a way that is very helpful because they can see things that most people don't see normally. So with their skills, they tend to help their family, loved ones transition, or their neighbors or their communities or people that they have no idea who they are. So they might be working in hospitals, they might be working in senior care because they are attracted to that type of energy where one way or another they want to be there in the physical too, but they also there in the higher at the soul level. So they are attracted to a lot of like shows about ghosts and things like that. So I hope that gives you a better idea of what those people tend to be like. Sometimes they do not engage in anything that has to do with astral entities because they can get very afraid and they can pick it up really easily. So until you learn to work with that energy, you could be pushing it away by not even engaging, so you don't get trapped in that situation. Now, the life review counselors, these are people that are naturally born counselors. They have amazing their listening skills. That they love to hold space. They just create such a beautiful place, a sacred place to hold space for others, to allow others to talk and understand their situations in a way that is magical, really. They tend to be non-judgmental, just like the rishis, and they just people love them because they are such good listener that they can bring things that to clarity in a way that other people haven't been able to. So people love them. Their natural talents, obviously, is to help others to heal by listening and holding space. So these people tend to be probably like therapists, psychotherapists. They might be school counselors. They might be intuitives working like a life coach or something like that. So these people are very good at listening. They're very good at giving advice based on the information that they picked up from the person that is giving it to them. Now, the fifth order soul training, these people go from there, they have like a rainbow aura where they can change the vibration that they need to bring forward at any time based on command. For example, these people can adapt very quickly to different type of beings, different type of person, different type of situations, and they can they're very good at astral traveling, astral projection, even remote viewing, because they're able to call in the energy and make it quickly, almost like a switch. Anything else that I can tell you about these people? The fifth order people, because they can be with anyone because of the energies that they bring forward. A lot of people like them immediately, almost like they feel like they can trust them, and there is something magical about them even when they don't know what it is. It's almost like they can flow with anything. Now, the restoration masters, these are people that are very idealistic. They're very dissatisfied with the things some things are done in this plane, in this planet, because they worked very closely with the original Earth blueprint designers, and they want Earth to be the way that it was designed, which is not at the moment. So they tend to be very irrational about some of the things that they uphold the society to be, and it's not. So they need to be able to balance their energy and to be able more willing to accept new ways, because they're so they're imprinted with the idea that Earth has to be a very specific way. And therefore these people also tend to be humanitarians, where they want to change things, and they might be activists. They might be going against big businesses just because, for example, those people that are fighting in the Amazons to make sure that the big companies don't cut the trees, right? These people tend to be the restoration masters, where they know that life is supposed to be different in this plane, because they have seen with their imprints that they have that is supposed to be so much better. So they go and fight. So they do need to bring balance to their life by understanding that some things are out of their hands, because otherwise they tend to blame themselves for not being able to do more. So it can be a little tricky situation here with the restoration masters. Now, those that are incubator souls, the incubator souls are people that are very nurturing. They have very beautiful supporting qualities. They love working with children because they love nurturing others. They make amazing parents and caretakers. They enjoy working with plants, working with animals, working with people that cannot be able to talk for themselves, like the elders or those that are disabled. So these people tend to be very amazing nurturers, because that's at the soul level, they have been in that type of training before. So they're bringing that forward now, where it comes naturally to them. Moving on to the dream masters. The dream masters, as it sounds, they're just really good at lucid dreaming, astral travel, they are they're crazy. They don't need to overanalyze their dreams, but they tend to, because sometimes when they're going through the training to activate this gift, they want to know every little single thing that happened in the dream and how does it mean, what does it mean, how does it affect their lives here, until they get to the point where they don't need to do that anymore because they're so good at it that they can recall and pull information instantly. But until they go through their training in this 3D reality, they do have to pay attention, because otherwise they were not going to get to the point where they don't have to pay attention. So it's almost like they have that training in their soul, but in this 3D reality they also have to activate that gift. Let's see, they're very good at helping others. People come to them to interpret the dreams because they're just so good at understanding different levels of the dreams where most people wouldn't be able to do that. Now the council members, again, the council members, these people have being in different councils, potentially more than one type of council, so they bring a lot of experience forward. They have so much wisdom. Sometimes it can be too spacey because they bring so much from the other higher planes that it can become very confusing sometimes. So these people, they love to research things. They love to put things together and connect different things together, collect data, because they know, they almost want to prove the mysteries to be so they tend to be hardcore putting information together so that they can really understand things, not only for themselves but for the entire humanity. Now the ethicist souls, these people are like ethics, like they bring a level of ethics and principle and morale and right and wrong understanding that really takes things to the next level. They really have to be careful with this because they can become very judgmental if they're not in balance, and they might think that they know everything and that their way is the way or the highway. So really here they have to balance that energy by being more open to others. But they bring that energy of like they have to live by principles, by morale, by ethics, being responsible. So they tend to be those people that sometimes is black and white. There's no gray in between. These people tend to have their own point of view about what is right and what is wrong, and other people's opinion is almost not that important to them. So they do need to balance that energy. All of these people have to balance their energy because otherwise it could become too much. Whatever they bring, it has to be balanced. So the keepers of neutrality are those that are peacekeepers. They bring a lot of energy of harmony, love, balance, peace. They tend to be amazing mediators because they bring that energy where they want everything to be harmonious. However, they may have a hard time picking, just like the ethicist souls are very either it is or it's not. These people tend to be so neutral that they could have a very hard time deciding when something is or when something is not. So they do tend to be a little indecisive sometimes. So that also has to be balanced. The explorer souls, I think we talked about that, but just in case I didn't, the explorer souls are very adventurous. These people are like freedom seekers. Reminds me of the energy of the number 5. They want things to always be changing, evolving, bringing a lot of energy in, and they love trying new things because they like that freedom. They like adventure. They're fearless. They're not afraid of the unknown, which is amazing, but at the same time, they have a very hard time grounding themselves in a specific location or a specific job for a period of time. Lastly, we have the Master of Design, which is Master of Design in biology or botany. which basically means that they're very good with human, trees, animals. They're natural empath with talking to innate like trees or animals, because they can pick up energy. Some of them might be able to communicate with animals or trees if they really go through their ascension, and they somehow know how to work with the chakras, the energy centers, almost like intuitively. They will know what chakra is wrong or what chakra needs to be aligned. And they might be really good with breath work. They are good with any type of modality that deals with energy and using their empath abilities. The master of design, that is more structural. These people are very good with understanding systems, understanding how to put things together, like businesses or financial systems or political systems. They just have a natural talent to know, to see the small and the big details in a way that other people might not, and how to put it all together. So they really like to put complicated systems together in a way that they think is going to end up being amazing. So they bring that energy forward in order for them to change society or the communities or their family in a very different way that is more structured, where things are improving and they pay attention to the little and the big details. So these people love working with anything, maybe like biology, business, financial, ecological situations. They might even want to work with like anthropology and making changes to that system. So anything that you can think that has a system, these people might go in and make changes to improve it. Now let's talk about the archangelic realms. There's 7 archangelic realms. I'm just going to call them angelic because the whole archangelic is really like tripping me. So the angelic realms, 7 of them. So do not get confused by just the name of the realms, because some over years there have been people that have channeled information that have given specific names to the 7 realms. And I just want to say that sometimes the angel that is assigned to each realm might be different than the one that normally have been before. And that's just because as things improve and the collective improve, you might see that sometimes the angels trade the functions. So therefore, for example, the first angelic realm is, some people might know it as the Auriel light, because of angel Auriel light. But if you really look at angel Ariel or Uriel, as some of you might know him, people use we received that information because he was the one that was standing at the gate of Eden, and because of that we assign the name of the first root chakra with Archangel Uriel, or Uriel, however you know him. And some people know him as a she or he. So actually, as you know, some of these angels can be either one, depending on the message that they bring forward for you. But because he was standing at the gate of Eden with a fire sword, he was watching over making sure that he was standing at the gate to prevent anything from happening. So in some cases, though, we know that he is known as the angel of wisdom, and he shines the light of God's truth into the darkness of confusion. So that's why he had the fiery sword. So with that in mind, We know that he was at the Garden of Eden, and that's why the Garden of Eden is here in this plane. So it's associated with Gaia. Therefore, the archangel of the root chakra is associated. The first archangel realm is associated with Auriel. So the first realm is all about compassion. These people bring the soul's gift of compassion, patience, tolerance, nurturing, connection to Gaia. They're very protected of their family and friends, their loved ones. They have a capacity to ground themselves in a way that is very powerful. So these people sometimes have to have that training because they bring a lot of the higher energy centers training. So to balance that energy, they have to have some of the lower energy centers training to make sure that they're not always just flying around with the higher energy centers. So they're very good with setting boundaries, but they can also be codependent on others because they have that immense need to be protective of their friends and loved ones, that they tend to be a little irrational sometimes on how they can be codependent on other people. It could be a double sword, if you can see it like that. They tend not to let other people take advantage of them because they protect themselves so much, but they can be very nurturing at the same time. But they know how to protect themselves in a way that sometimes their heart chakra could be a little closed off. They love to spend time in nature to recharge themselves, and if these people tend to be in the cities, like large cities, they really need to work a little harder to make sure that they spend time in nature, because otherwise they could become very ungrounding. So that's the Archangel Auriel light. It's all about compassion, patience, setting boundaries. They have to learn to set boundaries if they haven't been able to do that, because otherwise they will have a lot of issues with how they go through life here. But because they're so loyal and so protective of their loved ones, sometimes they get attached to only a specific few, and when one of those people don't live up to their standard, they can be a little irrational on how they feel about those people or letting other people in. The next one that we have of the archangel crowns is the Zadkiel, which is the Zadkiel angel. So the Zadkiel angel realm, this will be considered the energy of the sacral chakra, and the sacral chakra here with this energy of the angel Zadkiel is reminding us to live fully in the physical and enjoy the riches of life. Just like Auriel is all about being grounded and being with nature, one with nature, because it's the root, is the anchor. The Zadkiel people enjoy the physical. They love food. They love material success. They love to be to bring beauty in a way that it's almost like they have a level of sometimes of sophistication with them, even though they might not notice that. It's almost like they bring part of the manifestation ability, and they could be very good to balance the physical and the spiritual together, because they understand that they can manifest what they want. They appreciate beautiful, nice things. They have like sophistication, even though they might be poor, or they might be you might not consider them to be sophisticated. In their eyes, they have this level of knowing how to see and appreciate the nice things that sometimes they cannot have because of their environment, but they're born to bring abundance and material success to their families and communities. So they're very good providers, and they're very good at making things happen. They do have to balance the energy that they bring with this energy of being manifestors, because they love material success. They tend to go towards being a little greedy, and that has to be balanced. That's one of the lessons that they have to learn. These people also, the Sakia lights, also have a lot of energy of the strong masculine and strong female energy. So they bring that energy to unity in a way that they can tap into the manifestation skills easily. So they really have to be careful not to get overly greedy, or because it can lead to a lot of money challenges. It can lead to a lot of family challenges. It could lead to a lot of just challenges in general. These people also, the Sakielites, also have a lot of energy that they want freedom to do what they want. So sometimes they do tend to start something and not finish it. So they really have to have a support group that can help them ground themselves. Next, talk about the third archangelic realm, which is the Sophiel realm. And these people are all about the solar plexus chakra expression, bringing an energy of beauty to this physical plane that is just amazing. And they do that through their talents, their creative talents. They're very creative, very artistic. They're just a joy to be around when they're expressing the way that they see this life here through either music, painting, writing, speaking. It could be anything that allows them to express themselves. Could be chef, cooks, people that work with other people, mediators. It could be anyone that expresses themselves and uses their talent to bring healing in a way that is so beautiful. They tend to be very good with harmony, bringing the energy of harmony to this physical dimension. And they're very balanced with the solar plexus chakra. So that energy, if for some reason is imbalanced, they can quickly fix that by just simply working with their creative expression. They love to play, they love to express themselves. They're very good just really bringing out the beauty of things. When we see them, they remind us how beautiful life is, like how beautiful and expressive things can be. So they bring that level that is like, wow, some people are just good with the words, and when we hear them, we just feel lifted. Or the paintings will be very inspirational, or the way that they do life in general is just beautiful. They do have to work on balancing work, play, and freedom and structure, because they do love to have that freedom that sometimes can be unbalanced. They love things to be perfect, so they really have to work on not needing anything to be perfect by procrastinating, because sometimes they push it, so they can create something beautiful, but in reality they're just looking for the perfection in things, which can hold them back. Next, we have the Archangel Raphael. These are the people that are working with the fourth energy center, which we know is the heart center. These people tend to be healers. They tend to be very empathic because their heart is completely open. And if it's not, when it's open, you will see a big difference in how they go from being one person to becoming somebody else. They're very good with accepting others. So they have friends on different levels, rich, poor, bad and good, and they just accept without judging. It's almost like they they're loyal, they're compassionate, they're protective. They just want to be able to be okay with everyone because they bring that energy of their heart being completely open. These people, they need to learn to take care of themselves first, because they care about everybody else that they forget themselves. I can tell you, when I was working before, when I did a picture of my aura, and one of the things that they showed me when I did the image capture, it was how closed off my heart center was, because I was so protective not to let other people in. So these people are very good at giving and really setting others, but they don't know how to take care of themselves. They don't allow others to see themselves, to see them, because they can, it's almost like if they do, they feel like they are allowing others to carry what they bring with them, all the sorrows and all the pain. So they tend to take it in fully, so others can be protected from everything that they carry, because they do pick up everything. These people are empaths. They pick up everything from everybody else, and if they allow others to be let in, it's almost like they're going to unload all of their pain and sorrows to the person listening, and they want to protect that person, so they don't tend to do that. They pick up other people's pain and sickness to protect others, to heal others. Problem is, sometimes they don't know how to release that, so they can carry that and become physically ill and have chronic diseases and illnesses, because they pick it up from others, but they don't release it fully properly. So they have to understand that they don't have to heal everyone, because not everyone has to be healed. And this is one of the hardest lessons that these people that work with the fourth chakra have, that not everyone wants to be healed. To them, it makes no sense. So it takes them many, many years to learn this lesson. They just know how to help others, and they're just super empath. The problem is, again, they don't know how to release energy, so they tend to keep it in. A lot of these people might have issues with just illnesses out of nowhere, and they think it's them. It's actually because they're picking it up from others. And a lot of the time they will have vices, whether it is food, alcohol, drugs, because they want to shut it down, but they don't know how. So they go into some type of addictions that help them, whether it is watching TV, eating. It could be sex for some people. It could be just really things that when it gets out of hand, it becomes an addiction. Now the next one is the Gabrielites. This is the throat chakra. Again, don't worry about the names. Just pay attention to the energy that it brings forward, because the angel name might be different. Like if today, if I go and ask, can you give me the name of the angel that I'm working with for this energy, for this training, it might be different than the one that I'm giving you. So just pay attention to the energy that it brings forward. So the Gabrielite is the throat chakra energy center. These people are natural born teachers. They're very good at communicating. They have a lifelong passion for learning. They can be overly opinionated though, so they have to be careful not to be too preachy. And they find, if they find an audience that likes what they're doing, they tend to be even more passionate about it, because they can see how it can help others. They're very good at explaining things that can be very difficult for others to explain, and they just have such an authentic way to express themselves in a way that most people will think is crazy sometimes. What else? The Michael light chakra is the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra brings the energy of bringing clarity and insight to people that normally they have an issue with no being able to get themselves. So they bring a lot of clarity, a lot of insight, a lot of wisdom. They bring a lot of intuition with them, a lot of perceptiveness. They have very strong principles and integrity. They're very good with personal boundaries and can easily tell when somebody's lying to them or they have, like hidden intentions. They're very direct sometimes and they don't really like nonsense. They get to the bottom of the situation no matter what. So they're very good at speaking in a way because they already bring that energy of the throat chakra in when your third eye chakra is activated. So when you bring that training, you bring in the training from the higher chakras as well. So these people tend to be very good with diplomacy. But they're very also flexible because they know everything is not as it seems. So they can be very flexible with things. They could be, but if they're not balanced, obviously they have to get there. So these are the lessons that they have to learn because they know things. They have to learn how to be diplomatic. They have to know how to learn to be tactful. They have to learn how to learn to be more flexible if they're not flexible, because remember, if you're not in balance, you're not going to have those things in the positive. They might be in the negative. So these people might also have to learn to be more faithful, because even though they bring a lot of those higher energy centers, if it's not balanced, they will be a little bit doubtful. So again, if any of these things are not in the positive and you're supposed to be in the positive, that means you have work to do. The last one is the Camellite, and the Camellite is the crown chakra, and the crown chakra energy training here, archangelic training here, basically means that you are able to teach others. This is like the master teacher about teaching others about personal power, authority, self-authority, balance, understanding of the different things that most people won't be able to understand. They teach us to create our own destiny. They really empower us in a way that most people need to be inspired and like given clues and tips, and like they're just very good at making sure that people know that they can co-create their future in a way that they haven't been able to before. So they're very sensitive. They're obviously empath as well. They know how to work with the energetic system, with the energy centers, and they can pull information from anywhere. They know how to work with energy. They understand energy discernment. They just know how to do things that most other people will not be able to. So this is the crown chakra energy, and they do really have to be, before they awaken, they might not know that they can co-create. They believe in destiny. They don't know that they can create their destiny. They could be taking on a lot because they fear, even though they fear their own power and they are afraid to misuse it, they might be trapped in the like a workaholic system where it's work, because when they stop, they have a tendency to fly to the higher realms and get very confused if they're not in balance. I can tell you that, these people they don't like to stop or meditate potentially because they're afraid of what it means. But when they start waking up, they will be easily able to go into the higher dimensions in a way that most other people will have a hard time with. So these people tend to be very spacey sometimes. They may love working with energy work like Reiki or quantum touch healing or quantum healing, or just like the occult type of spiritual practices. And they just really have to figure out a time where they're down here on earth, because otherwise they can spend a lot of time in the higher centers, which makes them very spacey. They do fear their own power because they're so powerful that they really know energy. And when people know energy, they tend to at first fear how powerful it can be, because they know in previous life they had issues with overusing the power. So if they're bringing that energy back here, deep down they know, I have done this before and I have to be careful because last time I didn't accomplish my mission, so that's why I'm here now. So they start putting two and two together to the point where they are initially afraid of their own power. And that's all I'm going to talk about for the trainings, because really this is it. And we talked about the soul trainings and the 7 archangelic realms, and you can easily figure out which trainings you have by going through the list, or you can also use a pendant to ask which, and go one by one. Do I have the Camellite? And if it says yes, it's yes. If it says no, it's no. But some people bring more than 2 or 3 archangelic realms because of the type of mission that they bring. So you might have 3 or 4 different type of training. I know that's a lot, but that wouldn't be rare, given that the whole planet is going through such a major ascension process. Most people will probably have 2, at least 2. Most people nowadays that are healers will have about 3 or 4. So, and you might have even more than that. So there's 7. It's potentially could be that you have all 7 if you really go through your whole enlightenment process. It could be really magical. So I'm going to leave it here for now. And I hope you took notes. You can come back to it, because these are the type of trainings that it will give you clarity to know what you need to work on. If it's in the negative aspect, like if you're supposed to be a healer and you have the heart chakra no balance, it could be very small. You could be very afraid of letting people in. You could be just really not accepting others the way that you should, even though you want to, or you accept them but you don't accept yourself. So you really have to work things out and see if it's in the negative or the positive aspect. And if it's in the negative, what you need to do, what is part of the lessons that you're supposed to, the challenges that you bring forward. Because, for example, let me just do a quick recap. The Aurelites learning and challenges is to learn to set boundaries, to learn not to be codependent, to learn to don't let others take advantage of them. So those are 3 major lessons, learning challenges that they have. And they definitely have to spend time in nature if they want to go through those lessons in a more easier way. Then the Sakilite, they bring the challenge of learning to balance their greed, learning to balance money challenges, learning not to be so obsessed with the physical. And then we have the Sophialites. These people bring the challenge of learning not to procrastinate by looking for perfection. So they really have to balance the energy of work, play, balance the freedom and structure. They really have to sometimes they don't take a side because they're afraid to take a side, so because they're right in the middle. So they really have to learn to bring an energy of discernment so they can pick sides sometimes. And they really, the perfection situation is major for them. Then the Raphael, the healers, they have to learn to take care of themselves. They have to learn not to overgive to the point that people take advantage of them. I can tell you that this is definitely one of my centers, because I give to the point where then I realize, my goodness, I always give, but it's not in exchange because I'm not receiving. So then that's when you realize, well, that's not really your friends, that's not really the way that you need to be doing things. So again, taking the pain from others and lessons from others could be a problem too. So the Raphaelites, they have to learn to not take lessons away from others to, like to impact their contract, because you could be also creating karma for yourself. And then the Gabrielites can be overly opinionated, because these people are the ones that are working with the throat chakra. They could be very, the main problem that the Gabrielites bring is dealing with controlling or being too preachy or becoming superly opinionated to the point where they think their way is the way and that's it. So they really have to find a receptive audience. They have to be very focused on a type of audience that is going to be matching their energy, so they don't become preachy in the way that it can be negative. And then the Machielites, these people have to learn to be diplomatic about what they say, how they say it. They have to be more flexible. They have to bring the energy of the black and white in balance by seeing the things in between. And then they have to learn not to want to control their families, because they tend to be they might be the alpha in the family, and therefore they might want things to be in a certain way for their families or communities, and that can bring some challenges, because they don't give the potential for family members to do things that they should, to learn lessons that they need to learn. And then the Camelites, they bring the challenge of learning to co-create with the creator, with God, with the higher self. They have to learn not to fear their power, and they have to learn not to take so much that they get so overwhelmed. So I hope this recap, this lesson is valuable to you, because it's really a lot of information, but it's very powerful information, because when you know what training you bring, you can understand yourself in a deeper, more meaningful way. And information, knowledge, understanding is power. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.